Uncinetto. I'm Christina, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. I am going to share with you today, if you saw from the thumbnail, it is another travel video. Probably one of the most amazing adventures I have had in my whole life. I know I've talked a lot about it on the channel recently, but in early August I did go to the UK to spend some time with Sam over at Memphis Makes, and we spent quite a bit of time in the car going all hither and yon, but that is because, much like where I grew up and where I am now, if you want to get somewhere, it's going to take a little bit. Because where I live, I am over 30 minutes away from my job. And I knew that moving here. I knew that going in. There are people that live closer, but this was my choice, so I'm not in any way upset about it. And there are some stores that are close to me, like grocery stores and things like that. But if I want certain things, I have to drive for them. And growing up, once my parents divorced and my mom moved to Texas/Arkansas, mainly when she got remarried, and we moved into the woods, literally. Our house was surrounded by trees. It took a good 30 minutes to get to anything other than a small gas station. They did not have nearly the amount of things they have around them now. You saw a lot of trees for a long, long time before you got to anything like a grocery store or anything like that. So being in the car is not something that I minded at all. But we did spend a lot of time in the car, and I joked in the last video that it's good that we get along because we spent a lot of time in close quarters. I definitely am thrilled about that. So when Sam and I were talking about me potentially coming, it was, so what do you want to do when you get here? What do you want to see? And I was like, there were only two things that I wanted to do. One was, and I'm probably going to say this town wrong, so if you are in the UK, please don't shoot me. Even asking people how it was said in the UK, I heard 2-3 different ways. But there's a town called Teignmouth. Please, I hope I said that right. It doesn't look like that in any way, shape, or form to me. Matter of fact, Sam and I had a good laugh, and I'd be like, do you say this? Like, we would drive down the road, and I'd be like, do you say it like this? Sometimes I would get it right, and sometimes she would laugh hysterically. She'd be like, absolutely not. That's not how you say that. But I am a huge romantic literature fan. So, Keats, Byron, Shelley, all of those guys, right? They're writing, not necessarily their life decisions, but their writing I love. And Keats spent some time in Teignmouth, and I am sorry, my nose is itching so bad. He spent some time in Teignmouth, and he wrote some of his poems there. So, I'm so sorry. Hold on just one moment. Okay, I hit stop instead of pause, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going. I paused because I went to go blow my nose, and then I realized that I didn't hit pause, I hit stop. So no worries, I'll just edit them together. Anyway, I wanted to go visit that town, and then I also wanted to go to purportedly where King Arthur's castle was in Tintagel. And there's also Merlin's cave down there. And I can remember the first time that I read any story about King Arthur was actually, I was 11. No, I was 10. I was 10. And it was a story about the Green Man. And if you don't know anything about the Green Man is kind of like Father Nature in a way. That's how he's like compared, like, because people always think Mother Nature. But there is a male counterpart in some worldviews, and it's called the Green Man. And I was reading a story about him, and King Arthur was mentioned, and I was like, who is that? And then I started, of course, there was not the internet widely accessible, so I went to the library, and I was like looking it up, in the little card catalog, and then I came across all the stories about King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table and all this and that. And then from there, like, I transitioned backwards into like Beowulf, and it was amazing. So it was a whole new world of literature that was opened up to me, just because I was reading about mythology and like different mythologies. And then I came across, and so like I pebbled myself. I just followed the breadcrumbs, right? So I did not know how close that was to Sam, how close Tintagel was to Sam, but it was about an hour-ish away. So she took me there, and it was quite a walk to do the whole thing. I did not do the whole thing. I talked about in a previous video how I'm having to come to terms with the fact that my leg will not allow me to do everything I want to do all the time. I have to think about how my leg is feeling in that moment, and is this something I can feasibly do, and what do I want to do? So there were parts of the castle ruins that I desperately wanted to see, but I could not go see. However, Mike was fantastic in taking my daughter up to see. There's an amazing silhouette of a knight with an amazing view. God, I wish I could have gone up there, but I chose not to, because Sam had mentioned to me when they were there, her and Mike had been before, and when they were there, they couldn't go down to Merlin's cave because the tide was in. And you'll understand when you start seeing the pictures of the cave part, that it's not possible, because the water goes all the way through. So when the tide comes in, those caves are filled, because they're not just, it's almost like it's a passageway. Some of them are passageways. They're not just caves and then it stops. You can see the ocean on both sides. So to get down there and to be able to be down there doesn't happen all the time, because you can't see it all the time. So we had asked, because we had thought the tide was going to come in, and so we were going to try and get down there and then try to get back up. And because of the type of ticket that Sam had purchased, we would have been able to do that. But we asked one of the guys, I don't know what his role was, but he's someone that worked there, and he was like, no, the tide's not going to come in until like 5 or 6 o'clock at night, so you have literally all day. And we were like, oh wow, okay. So Sam and I sat, and we got to talk, which was amazing, while staring at this fabulous view. While Mike took my daughter up and around to see a couple of different things, and he took my phone and took some pictures for me. Um, he tried to take a video, but my daughter doesn't do things slowly. So a lot of times I have to, if I'm with her, it sounds like I'm getting on to her a lot, but I just want her to slow down and experience things so that she doesn't forget them, so that she remembers them. Sometimes she'll run right past something and I'm like, sweetheart, why don't you come over here and look at this with mama? And she'll be like, oh, I didn't even notice this. And that's because she's, right? She's going so fast. So he was able to take her up and around, and then they came back and we started descending down and down and down and down, and there were so many stairs, and about halfway through my legs started shaking, and I was like, oh God, this is the one thing I wanted to do. This is the one thing I wanted to do. And so I didn't let on that anything was wrong. I just, I went slowly and I took my time, and then you get all the way down and the stairs are gone. They're gone. Because Sam had told me that originally when they went, there was no bridge, there was no, there were these like rickety stairs and this rickety thing, and you had to like walk down and then go back up. And so there was actually, the stairs that they had gone down were actually blocked off now. You couldn't go down them. So when we got all the way down, there was this like pile of rubble that you had to crawl across or step across to get to the caves, because the ocean comes through there. Nothing stays there, because it just batters it constantly and it just knocks it all over. And I am having an allergic reaction to something. My nose feels like it is on fire. My eye is like, anyway, I don't know what. I have, literally, there's nothing in my house that I'm allergic to. And I have not been out of my house today. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, we got across all of the rubble and we got into the caves, and when I tell you, I very nearly broke down, because it was a dream come true. It was beautiful. It was amazing. And my daughter, who absolutely adores the ocean, I said, take your socks and shoes off, roll your pants up, have at it, right? So her and Mike took their socks and shoes off and put their feet in. And I wasn't so worried about whether or not my feet got wet. We were walking through the caves, and then I walked up through some of the water, and I wanted to climb. There was this rock, and I wanted to climb it so bad. I just couldn't. My leg was not having it. It would not support me trying to climb that rock, and I would have fallen and hurt myself. Because I started climbing, and then I went to put my leg up, and I could feel nothing. And I was like, if I try to put my foot down and stand up, I am going to fall, because my leg is not going to be there for me. So I was like, all right, well, I got to get down. But there was a beautiful waterfall that we got to sit there while my daughter played in the water, and she made seaweed soup, and just to be down there. Because it's not, even if somebody goes there, it's not something that they can do every time they go. So there were like 4 or 5 times I just wanted to cry, because of the beauty of it, because the fact that I was able to take something that I had loved since I was a child and be in that space, even if that's not really where it was, even if King Arthur wasn't a real king, even if just the legend of it all, if that makes sense. Just to make that connection from when I was a 10-year-old girl coming through the card catalog to being a 40-year-old woman and being able to have that full circle moment. Does that make sense? And then Sam, she, when she got the tickets, because I was fully prepared to, I thought she was going to tell me when she was booking the tickets. I thought she was going to say, okay, well, I'm going to book the tickets, and then I'd send her the money for my ticket and my daughter's ticket. Well, she didn't do that. She just booked, and I get it, it's better to book it all at once, but I would have happily even reimbursed for my tickets, right? But she went a step further, and she got me the book that goes along with the history of Tintagel, and not only the history of it, but some of the things like the bridge that they put in, and the updates that they've made to make it more accessible, because it is disappearing, with erosion and weather and all kinds of things that are happening, right? It is disappearing. It's crumbling. I mean, that's part of what happens. Oh, my nose, it's just so bad. I don't know what's happening right now, but it's just so bad. So I was telling her the other night when we spoke that I've already read that book cover to cover. And she was like, I bet you have. You could tell me more about that thing than I could you, and I live here. And I was like, yeah, probably. But it was an amazing moment. And I am so grateful that she was willing to take me and sharing that with me, even though she'd already been. Because she could have easily said, well, I've already been there and I kind of really don't want to do it again. Which, fair, right? But I would have been like, okay, now I have to rent a car, drive on the opposite side of the road, and try to find a way to get there. I mean, I don't know if there would have been a train I could have taken that would have gotten me close enough. I have no idea. I don't know. Oh, my eye. Oh. So, but it was wonderful. We had lunch there, and then we went to the gift shop, and I got a magnet and a t-shirt and all the touristy things. And I hope someday that I can go back and do the other part, like see the silhouette of the night myself, and go through more of the ruins, because I desperately want to. And now that I've been down to the caves, I mean, I would love to do that again as well, don't get me wrong, but I can take that energy and put it towards a different part of the ruins this time. So, I just wish that I could have done it all, but c'est la vie. Then we went, she had told me that there was this like magic museum, a little ways down the road, and I was like, ooh, I would love to see that, right? And it's in a town called Boscastle. Please tell me I said that correctly. Maybe. And that is a little picturesque town as well. It is phenomenal. And they had already been into this magic museum, so they were like, if you don't mind, we are going to skip this one, but we'll walk around with your daughter and take her around to see because I mean the town it's not very big, but there was this like walking path that kind of went around, and that's where all the shops were. And she had taken some horses in the car to have something to do, because it wasn't a long journey, so I told her she wasn't going to be able to take anything major with her. So she took her little horses and played in the water, which is fine. I didn't mind at all. And then as I went through the museum, I There he was. I saw him. There was the green man. There he was. There were some other really cool, interesting pieces as well. And again, it was, I mean, and I've seen pictures of the green man. I've seen drawings and plaster remakes of him. You know, I mean, I've seen all of that, but to be so close to where that mythology was founded and believed and lived, and then to see all of that, I completely nerded out. I'm not gonna lie. It was great. It was absolutely great. And then they didn't have anything like that I could afford in that museum. They didn't have like magnets or any little things that I could get. But there was a shop. What is it called? This isn't it. Oh, National Trust. So they had a National Trust like gift shop. This is a different puzzle, but I did get one of Boscastle as well. It's a little 40-piece puzzle, and I will be doing that on the channel later. I'm trying to sprinkle in things that I've done over the summer versus things that I'm doing now, so that I don't constantly have to play catch up. I'm doing a little bit here and there, and I don't know when I'll get to the puzzles. I either need to make a space down here to do the puzzles down here, or I'm gonna have to take all of my stuff back upstairs to have my little TV tray table, because I'm not bringing a TV tray table down here, because then I won't bring it back upstairs. So I either need to, and I can, there's some space over here to my left that I've got some yarn that I've already showed you guys in a previous video. I need to put it in my inventory and then I can store it. So once I do that, I will have space. I just have to make that happen, so that I can do the puzzles for you all. And I don't know if any of you like the puzzles, but I enjoy them, so I'm gonna do them anyway. And they're not that big; they're just little 40-piece puzzles. But they are nice little memories to have. So I did get that. And I hope that you've enjoyed the pictures that have been popping up of the things that we did. I truly, I don't think I can put into words how special going to Tintagel was for me, and how very, very grateful I am that Sam was even willing to take me, because, like I said, it was something that has been only in my head and in books for so long, and then to be able to feel that real possibility, like the realness of it. Like I said, King Arthur could be just pieces of different stories and different things and different times put together to create this legend, because that's what a legend is. It's, some of it is historically accurate pieces of information, and then you get all these other things that are attached to it to build this legend, right? So there may be a kernel here, a kernel there of things that are actually true, but they may not have even happened in the same century. They could be so widespread, but over time they get combined into these stories and these legends, and just to be able to be where it could be possible, right? After having had it in my head for so long, it was just amazing. And that is not even big enough. It was phenomenal. It was fantastic. It was all the things. So thank you, Sam, for being willing to take me, and thank you, Mike, for everything that you did that day. For me, for my daughter, everything. It was truly a wonderful day. So before I get too emotional, and I really need to go blow my nose, I am going to go. I really, really hope that you've enjoyed the pictures. They were breathtaking as I was taking them, so even looking back on them, and I'm sure looking back on them to edit them will be even more magical for me. I do hope that you enjoy them. And with that, be well, be safe, and be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella!